this project than I originally thought. So
Okay.
yeah, we had a lot more interest in this project originally when it first got
Mhm.
here, when we first introduced it. So we have lineups all the way through. But yeah, the great thing about this little project is you're gonna have several different options to for that movie. You're gonna get your own copy, so you'll get a wave link or whatever to save for yourself and use however you want. And then I'm gonna make a gaming version, and then Tora D is gonna make a little, creative version probably. So there's gonna be a bunch of different things that you can do with that, and different ways that it's gonna go out and be promoted. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. So let's talk about your music, man. You're sick with on a guitar. Let me tell you
Oh,
that. I've
thanks.
listened to some of your jams, man, and you're just crazy on that guitar. I mean, geez, how long have you been doing guitar now?
It's been a long time. I mean, I'm old. I'm 40. Uh, I've been playing since I'm like 15.
Wow, nice.
Uh, it's all self-taught, I just kind of really got into it, and just my dad gave me like an acoustic guitar when I was 15, and then at 16 I got my first electric guitar. I still have it. Still love to play it. Uh, she's 25 years old, whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
Hey,
and
So
man. It's
so
got
back
all the
in those
dents and
days, were
bruises
you
that make it
punk
sound
fan?
good. That's what that is.
yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a different feeling playing. I have another guitar that's quite new. It's a different feeling, emotional feeling when I'm playing them. Like I'm definitely more attached to the one
Yeah,
that's
you get
been with me for 25 years.
yeah, you get attached to all those little things. I used to play, I don't play anymore, but I used to play saxophone a long time ago. I don't know if
Nice,
I could do it
nice.
anymore, but I used to have fun with that for a while. But yeah, and you also do a lot of gaming on your channel too. You have some gaming uploads in GamerTube, and you have some on your channel. Do you merge that in with your music?
Lately I've been putting some of the tracks that I've recorded on top of the gaming. But gaming's new to me, man. I mean, I've been gaming since I'm like 6 years old, but
Oh yeah.
but yeah, but
That's great, man. Yeah, that merging of content and remixing it, that's really where it's at. And that's I mean, yeah, I'm sure you've seen my uploads and my videos, and
yes,
I merge videos and music and gaming and
yes,
everything together. And posts are in my videos. So, I mean, it's just everything is just kind of remixed in there together. And I know I saw one of your uploads with the music in it, and I was like, yeah, this is where he's getting to. This is great. This is where I'm going to be
thanks,
listening, because that's what I can watch something that I enjoy, and I can listen to something I enjoy at the same time. You know what I mean? That's just me.
thank you, thanks, man. Yeah, the gaming's new to me as content. I've been playing for the longest time, always offline. Like I'm not an online gamer, uh, but as content, I was like, I had kind of falling off of gaming, and then I started getting back into it, and I'm like, I could just record some of these videos of my playthroughs and put some music onto them and have it be
Yeah,
content, and it invites me to play, because I had kind of fallen out with it. So now I'm getting a lot more back into it, now
that's
that I
cool.
see it as this thing that I can mix with my music.
No, no, yeah, yeah. Once you pair those up, you're just like, all right, I'm right where I need to be. I'm enjoying getting my relaxed time and playing a game. And I'm just chilling out, and I'm also getting content out of it. And it all just runs together. I mean, I love music. It's what next. It's gaming and music for me. Those are my top two.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that you hopped on with us and really took to the community and got out there, and you started pumping out content quick, and it was just one after another. I was like, oh man, I hope this guy doesn't get burnt out.
yeah. Yeah, obviously, there's that, but mine's is inviting, man. Like I I came to minds when Bill appeared on Rogan,
Okay,
basically.
yeah, yeah.
and then I came here for a little bit, but it was difficult. Like none of my friends are here, and like it's like okay, but I knew it had something, and I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and then I kept coming back just to see, and I saw the evolution. Like I started seeing more art, or started seeing like people drawing a lot, like less of the politics, I guess, were entering my feed.
Yeah, when I first joined, it was a lot of politics and anonymous kind of coalition kind of groups, which was really interesting to me. But I didn't care. I just was like, I'm gonna do my own thing and see what happens.
Yeah. And I was also interested in like they're just trying something different, like what are like just the whole economics here is just like, oh, they're just trying something. Let's just see what that is, and that seemed interesting to me. And the fact that the people at the top seem to be approachable. Like I see you guys talking to them all the time, and they're like getting feedback from the community and all that. That seemed interesting to me as well. So I stayed. Like I was like looking at it from afar, and then I stayed. And then once the pandemic happened, this is where I just enjoyed to be. So like I just started posting.
Heck yeah. That's like the thing about Minds, in the early days when I was there, the thing that I latched onto was open source. And I took coding when I was in high school. I got like kind of burnt out by it, but I always liked this one book called The Cathedral and the Bazaar, and it was about open source versus closed source systems. And it was more about like philosophy. And ever since I read that book, like I was like, oh shit, like that's like part of like how I think. And so when it said open source, I was like, okay, I don't take that shit seriously, like not even open source about like how you do your media, open source about like everything. And so like when Bill says that, like I said, okay, I'm gonna start my own show called the Minds Panel Show, and then I'm gonna like reach out to him because like he should be open, right? He should be like be able to like be approachable and be able to talk to him.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest things. Like I message admins all the time. I'm active in the GitLab, and they all know me. And some of them might not like me, but they all know who I am. For the most part, we try to help out and get things done, push them along. We might nag them or rub them the wrong way sometimes, but they're very approachable, and they'll talk to you, and they'll say, hey, no, we're not going to do that, we're not interested, or yeah, that sounds like a good idea, let's see what other people think about it. But yeah, man, so we already talked about your favorite guitar, right? Your electrical guitar. It's 25-year-old, right? That's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, I named them. That one's.
Oh, what's his name? Come on, what's his name?
Give them girl names. Her name is Susie. She's a Gibson SG.
Nice.
And then I have Kiesel Aries, and that one the Minds community helped me name her.
Nice.
We landed on Ava, so I liked it. So that's her name.
Some people give cars their name. You got to give your guitar name, right? You play with that more than your car.
Yeah.
So we know your favorite guitars and their names. So what's your favorite game?
I'm gonna say, oh man, oh fuck, you fucked me there, man. Between Fallout 3 and Mass Effect 2, maybe.
All right, so those are little current games. What about like what was when you were brought up? What's your favorite game when you were a kid? Like when you were growing up?
Definitely played a lot of Double Dragon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, yeah, man,
I like that a lot. Mario Kart, of course, never died. It's still
Yeah. You got to play Mario Kart, but the original maps are what matters. All right, you can't
Okay,
play
okay.
Mario Kart on these new maps. They're all trash. You got to play Rainbow
Okay.
Road, and you
Is that
have to
why
be
I'm
in.
winning? Because of the new maps, they're trash.
They are.
Yeah.
Fight me about it. They're trash. But yeah, Rainbow Road, and I'm gonna get Yoshi, and we're all good. All right.
Okay.
Uh, so you've been online for quite some time. Just got back interested in it. Definitely been pumping out a lot of content, which we love to see. So, what are some things you wanted to talk about?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, man, you're our guest. Well,
Okay.
what things did you want to bring up?
Oh, that's a good question, man. But mostly it's like, so you guys are trying to build something here, like how can we help? Like that's a question. I've always had a
Right.
question for you, Mindsgaming,
Yeah.
which is like I don't know how to really interact with the groups in a way that benefits everybody. I see like a lot of people just posting everything on all the groups, and sometimes I'll scroll down in those groups and nobody has more than 5 views or one like, like there's no one there basically. So I don't really want to just spread my content on every group that there is that's not being seen by anybody. It seems like a lot of work.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I want to
So,
know how to
my,
better interact with the groups in a way that helps the people in the groups, like that we all
right.
benefit.
Yeah. So my suggestion on that would actually to create a focus group, right? So if you're a musician and you love music, that's the group that you should promote most of your content in. That's the few, and by this time you should know your subs and have some interaction or conversations with them, so you can say, hey, this is where my content is, and it would be great if you guys came over here to help me, get this going, because that's all it is bringing people in together, and that's what we've done for years. And the more you work in a group, the more popular your posts will get from that group, because you got to realize that when you post to a group, some people don't, if they're not a member of that group and you're not reminding it, they're probably not seeing the post, so that's why a lot of your interactions probably drop a little bit. And some people are only in groups to get their content promoted. They want
Yeah.
to share and get it out there, so they hop in and they'll drop something and hop out. Once you get dedicated to a group and start posting in it, then everybody in that group starts knowing you, and they see your name pop up all the time in that group, so they're going to start interacting with it more. And especially if you like get into the chat areas of the groups and stuff, and so just say, hey, how you guys doing,
Okay.
whatever, every once in a while. The biggest thing is drop a comment on posts every once in a while and say, hey, nice post, nice this, nice that, because that'll
Yes.
bring them back to your post. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's going to be like, oh, thanks. What do you post? And that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's something big. Like, early on, that was something that I talked about, was like comment culture. Like, if you really do like someone's work or whatever they do, it's better to like engage with them as in a comment and like say, hey, that's cool. Or like, earlier I was looking at a Minds Plus content, and there was like a poem that he wrote, and then someone like composed a song, and then so he's like, oh, he kind of like said something at the end about like, how does this make you feel? So then I wrote like a little response back, like in poetry, and we had like a cool little interaction, like back and forth with some poetry. And like that kind of stuff is like where Imaginarium was like born in that sense of trying to have these interactions and trying to move. Not we do promote our content, but at the same time, I've always viewed groups as like a creative like workspace, and it hasn't got to that functionality yet. But with Matrix, it will, because like we use it differently. Imaginarium, at least, or like the intent of our group is a little different. Like if you scroll through like something that I posted, it's a collective poem that we wrote. A lot of times we do collective like videos there. like for all the crazy minds, or a whole lot of crazy. That video was like posted there, and then like posted back and forth between me and Mac and a couple other Imaginarium or open mic people. So that's where Imaginarium like comes in and like pushes, is for like the creative people, with the cloud that we're developing with Mindsgaming, is about like sharing resources, being open source with like how we work. And if the person is like, whatever we put there is like for Creative Commons, so anybody who could use it, remix it. And so like when you are working on your video editing and different things, like for me, doing transitions and doing those little graphics are pretty easy, especially now that I have this other program that I really like, and then I got the pro version. So like it like made my production go up at like rapid speed. I was already kind of crazy, but now with a little better tools, I could be a little bit more wild on how I do stuff. You know.
Oh yeah.
Man, your editing is sick, man. I fucking love it.
Sorry, D's crazy with the visuals. He gives me tips. Oh, you should do this. Oh, yep. All right, no problem, bro.
It's like that's actually how this was like born. Like, you know, I was reaching out to people because I did the Bill interview, and I felt the energy coming like since, you know, December, and I was getting things ready on my side because I like both me and Mindsgaming, we've been here for so long that we know like the ebb and flow of like Minds, and like, you know, he's pretty consistent with his community, but like my side of the coin is like about like collaborating and creating content. So I'm always in touch with my crew, and we may not like post every now and then. Like Meg like takes off like 6 months and she doesn't do shit, and then she comes back and she's like, oh, I'm gonna compose music, and she goes crazy for like another 6 months and like just creating stuff, and then I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. And then now I have like all this like music to play with. So that's what we've been doing on our back end, and Mindsgaming has been, you know, like this was like the funny thing when we started talking was like, oh yeah, I could help with the intros. Oh yeah, like dude, this like let's combine our stuff. And then I was complaining about like having a central like you know resource where anybody could use it, and he's like, oh yeah, dude, we'll just build a cloud. Like I'll do that right real quick. And like join Glitch. And I'm like, okay. And then it just like snowballed to like, oh yeah, let's do a VR experience. And we're like, okay, so let's do 360 photos.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that in that other conversation. That sounds awesome. I don't know what you're building, but I'm curious.
Oh yeah. So we built a cloud for the Imaginarium, which is pretty much the same setup as the Mindsgaming website. It's all cooperative. You can upload your assets. You can you know, share with each other. You can download each other's content and all that kind of stuff. And then in the background, we're building a VR. So when you go to the Imaginarium page, you'll see the main VR as the, you know, the landing page, and you just click VR to put it in full screen. And we're gonna build that out. Right now, it just has some placeholders in it and stuff, and you know, a couple pictures. But yeah, I mean, that's why we want to start getting you know, content creators and gamers and all that together and start getting this content out there, because it's all going to go onto that cloud, and then we're going to pull this content later back into our VR. So like we might grab a clip of music from you and just put it in our VR because you were on our show, you know what I mean? So it's all cooperative. Of course, we're going to ask everybody and all that kind of stuff, and you know, make sure we can use their content and all that. But
so, and you know, also just if ever, you know, you see through my feed like any content or any music that you think you may use or whatever, just I'll send you all the original files for that and like all that. I'm open for sharing and like all that.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. It's what it's all about. Yeah, but the project side of it is really interesting. It all just snowballed into this huge thing that we didn't, and nobody expected.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's because I already had it set up, so I was gonna start doing interviews, you know, by myself, and just start pulling in gamers. And then Store D was doing his thing, and then we kind of clashed into each other at just the right moment. We're like, all right, well, let's just merge into one show and do everything, because we can cover all the bases between the both of us. So we might as well.
Yeah.
But you know
But,
what's cool about that, at least on my end, is that like now that like the work is kind of like shared in a sense. You know, he's going to bring in gamers, and I'll bring in creative people, and then we kind of will have a workflow where maybe one week I'll do some of the like more of the work of like organizing the show or whatever. But that I've always thought of like having more people to do stuff, and we did this early on in Imaginarium when it first came out, where there was like a rotating 3 host to it. So then like that frees me up to be like playing all day with visuals and music. I don't know if you guys saw, like I did this like visual radio thing that I've been like thinking about, but like Curry's been developing this character that I've been like trying to give birth to visually with my effects, basically.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man,
Well,
for sure, man. I saw you. Is it like the radio something like number 1?
Yeah, the
that you
visual
posted?
radio.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. So that frees me up to have more time to like explore, because like sometimes people don't realize that like sometimes just like setting up a consistent like podcast could be like a little like there's a little work that's involved in like doing that kind of stuff, which I don't. I mean, I do it, but like sometimes I prefer not to do it.
yeah. It's all really interesting. I'm glad that we'll have to show you the back end sometime and see if we can get you involved in that too.
No coding experience except like a little bit of CSS back when, I don't know. But
oh yeah,
musically, man, if you need guitars of any sort,
it's all about sharing. And I'm not a professional coder or anything. I like playing around with a little bit of everything. I'm actually new to A-frame, so I'm still learning as I go along too, and it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get there.
That's what it's about. Yeah,
I gotta have to dust out my old coding hat. It's been on the shelf for a while, just because I wanted, like, what I used to like to do all the time, which I was more about, like, okay, I told Mindsgaming this when our project was to build a video game in HTML, and we're like, okay, like a web-based one, and so we're looking at all these different games that they had, they had all the old arcade ones, like the Asteroids and all this kind of stuff. I was like, oh, all these are cool, but like I had more fun designing like characters, so I stole this like character from this band that I like, the Aquabats, and then it was also a joke because people didn't like the Aquabats, and I would play it like loud in class just to annoy people. And like I told them, like, what are you gonna do about it? So anyways, and so I go and I steal that asteroid game from some site, and then I use the code. But all I do the whole time is to change. All I cared about was like making this Aquabat character the ship, and he's destroying the sand fleas. And so I spent the whole time designing the front end, and I didn't bother to really change the back end that much, like to make it like my own. And then so like I got dinged for that, but I had the coolest game in class. That's by far. So I'm gonna have to learn enough to manipulate, the images to my liking, and that's what I got to learn.
Yeah,
I'm old. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm old enough to like. I remember playing Prince of Persia, but you had to load the game like DOS. Like you had to like command, load whatever,
in
and
the
then
terminal, yeah.
And I'm jumping with the space bar, and just like it's so weird.
Yeah. We were talking about the trails the other day. Now I've gone blank.
Oregon Trails.
Yeah, Oregon Trails. Yeah. The other day about that. That's how I got like really into like finding glitches in games, because it had this little glitch that you could get into the back end and see all the code in it.
Dude, this brings me to something I've been wanting to tell you, Mindsgaming. I've been watching Upload, and I got to the episode where the gray area where they find the glitch and they're out there and they go into like that hacker like
I'm
arena.
so happy
I
you
was,
started that,
I was
man.
like,
That is
Yeah, I heard you guys
dude.
talking about that on
I
the
was like,
previous
dude, this
show.
episode, like that episode, just that concept. I was like, fuck yeah, the glitch. I'm gonna find that glitch. You can go in there, hack anything, and do what you want, you know. And they were they. The funny joke was that they were traded in Libra or whatever with the Facebook currency. And I found I like those little jokes of like where they say
yeah.
about like the present. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm glad you got into that. That's such an interesting show, man. It's fun to
I
watch.
liked it too. Is it coming back though, or is it done?
They said that they had to stop recording because of the whole COVID thing, but they said that there is gonna be another season eventually, but they don't have a date. So you know how those things work out usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it would be cool if they came back with it. I'd be excited for it. Right now, I'm on Snowpiercer. I don't know if you seen any of that, but
Yeah. I saw the first season. I haven't seen the second one or the newer one.
I won't ruin it.
You got into it. You got into it. I couldn't get into it. I saw the movie and I enjoyed the movie, but I couldn't get into the show.
Man, that is such a big discrepancy for some reason. Like I watched the movie after I started getting into the show, and then I was like, wow, this movie doesn't go anywhere near to the show.
Yeah,
Okay, the show goes deeper.
Yeah, that's why you like the reverse of it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that's like before. Okay, I'm 36. So like before, it was like, oh, if you read the book and then you watch the movie, then you don't like the movie. But if you watch the movie and then you read the book, then you're kind of like, yeah, whatever about it. But now it's like, oh, if you watch the original version of it before you watch like the remake version of it, it depends like how you frame the new media.
Yeah, and if you read the book, you don't know what's going on at all. Okay. Oh man. Oh. So you said you're not an online gamer, right? So yeah.
No, man. I mean, like like I'm a shy person. You know, I never really got into like and like my friends don't really game.
Okay.
So it would have to be like strangers for sure, and like this is difficult for me. Like
Yeah, gaming culture is a whole different world because we don't really have friends.
Okay, interesting. They're all enemies to be gunned down.
The art of war.
Yeah, man. No, but no. Of course, we have people that we like playing with and all that. But yeah, you got to find somebody to get on with, and I'm always free to hop on a game every once in a while. So we'll have to hook up and get online, man.
You have to tell me which game. I don't know the. I don't know. I don't think I have any games.
You name the game. I'll take care of the rest.
All right. FIFA. You down for FIFA?
Yeah, sure, bro, sure.
All right.
Sounds fun. All right, we'll have to hook up sometime, play some FIFA. All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'll probably be terrible, but I'll play with you.
Okay. So
the reason I say it is probably the only game I can win at.
you want to stack the deck before? You're like, what's this game I'm at?
Gotta get a video up that says I beat Mindsgaming. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. I love playing all kinds of games. So, I'm good at shooting games. If it's a shooting game, I'm gonna be very competitive. Other than that, I'm just having fun.
Yeah, shooting games. Yeah, I mean, I did my rounds of GoldenEye and like.
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Oh man. You have the golden revolver? Was that your go-to?
Fuck, I don't even remember, man. But my friends they like that game. The hunting yourself and like shooting everybody. Also Quake back in.
Yeah. Quake was a good game. Yeah, definitely.
I remember like terrible like these bad compact computers, man. Everybody's just like trying to make Quake go or whatever.
Yeah, you had to run your RAM up pretty high. I think the CPUs are running at like 89, and so everything was at fault. You did it because you wanted to play that game. I don't care if I burn my CPU out. I'm gonna play this.
I do not care.
So, just like my friend, I found out what happened. His cat ate his cable to his mic or something like that. Anyways, I wanted to bring everybody to the near future in a sense. Imagine, you're talking about playing games with each other. Like, there's a virtual lounge, and then you're in there kind of hanging out, like looking at artwork or listening to some music. And then all of a sudden you see that, Mindsgaming is in the arcade. Oh, let's see what he's doing. And like, oh, hey, what's up? You want to play a game? Okay, then you like jump in, and then you guys like play a game with each other. And then like vice versa, like something going on in Imaginarium. I want to have like this virtual room, which is like an event room. And like say, Curry Hobo is the resident artist in the Vapor Lounge or whatever, and I see that he's in there. So then I go in there and I start saying, "Hey, I'm gonna play some music while you like paint on the walls and like design your VR space." And then so then like Mindsgaming sees that I'm in there and he says, "Okay, I'm gonna go in there and like work on some code, or I'm gonna like work on, or I'm gonna play some games and just chill and hang out." And then now we're like talking and painting and listening to music, and then we're like, "Okay, cool, like." Maybe we should like use figure out how to do this. Like Curry Hobo already came up with like the wildest idea. Like he even shocked me, and he wants to like, because where I was telling him about what Chris Duguid was telling us about this VR tour, but you could have an actual person give you the tour instead of like a bot or whatever. And so there's another person giving you the tour while you're walking through this event. And then like right now they're like represented as like like these kind of like little orbs that just like pulsate as you talk. And then Curry Hobo reverses that and says like, what about we have a feature that you start sculpting with like your sounds, and and then
that
like
sounds interesting.
So like you could be playing your guitar and then like it get represented in the physical space, and then like Curry Hobo comes by and like sculpts it. So like this is not making a music video. This is like sculpting your sounds. You know what I mean? Like
transmuting.
Yeah. So your guitar work is going to be represented in this 3D space, and then maybe Curry Hobo like does the color design of it or something.
Fuck yeah!
It's what I think a lot of people don't realize about music and gaming and being just generally creative and art is they all tie into each other. Like without music and art, you wouldn't have gaming. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think enough people really appreciate how much work and how much creative thought goes into making these games, because you have tons of designers and artists and musicians and sound effects people that design these games.
Yeah.
And then
the game production is like way bigger than like a movie production as far as sheer work and art and that goes into it.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
No doubt it's insane, though, because like what happens is that they all spend all this time doing these things for the gamers, and then the gamers take all the credit for their gaming upload video. Oh, look at how crazy this looks, and look how good I did at this game with all these awesome graphics. Well, okay, what about the artist that made that graphic? Where's he at?
That's so true, man. Guilty here too, because I don't know the names of any of them.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, it's terrible.
So.
This leads me to something that I've been working on my back end as far as with Imaginarium and anybody who's part of Imaginarium, and we're slowly starting to use it. One of the tools we're using is called Open Collective, but it's also to later on thinking wisely about how we use our tokens and other different digital assets and like investing them, and like the whole thing about like having liquidity in Uniswap is about like getting a piece of the digital landscape and real estate, so that we invest properly in our work, so that like this I imagine it as like a 401k for creative people that work with Imaginarium. So like you have like a share in that, and so like later when this accumulates into something, then you have a share of that. So like that the creative people that are putting in work into these mixtapes, like Curry Hobo that I'm messing with his for the music that goes into that at least on my end for Imaginarium, they're gonna have like a piece of the whole overall pie. And right now it's small, but I'm getting pretty crazy with where I'm going with my stuff, that like I could see the growth potential of that, and I want to make sure that everybody who participates in a high level with us like gets a piece of the shares of like whatever happens with the Minds token and other various things that I kind of been strategizing by and doing secret talks with Corey Sofuego and doing other things.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting when the whole Uniswap comes in, because I'm hoping they implement it so that there are pools in there that you can put your money into, or you can send your tokens to automatically or whatever, and grow this pool of income. So it's all a collective pool of tokens. So we could have a Mindsgaming pool of tokens, and then you could have an Imaginarium pool of tokens, and then you could have one pool that's both of them, and you have all these different pools where
like a federation, or it's like the mutual fund, like we tie in like both of them that like later, depending
that
on
sounds super interesting, man. That really sounds interesting.
Because
so,
that this is what I mean about like being open source, and like your philosophy is like open source, economic tools. Like that's what the whole thing is about crypto, and like this is what I've always been about. And I think this is like another thing that brings most people to Minds, is like this kind of curious about the edges of what's happening. I remember the first time we got on Minds that we had a fucking Bitcoin wallet, and then they took it out because of was it secure? But I remember that.
Of course, I remember the first wallet. That was and then the whole point system was just everywhere. I remember having millions of points, and I was like, "What am I going to do with this?" I love the community off scraps, man. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I think I got to see the points, but I don't think I was very active at that moment.
Yeah. No, it's I'm glad they moved over to utility token over just a game point. Even though I'm a gamer, and I can play with those all day, but having
this brings it to that thing that we're talking about, and maybe we just like briefly talk about it. Is like also to play these different weird games that we create, because I'm thinking the Vapor test becomes this VR mystery escape room experience, but like there's gonna be a credible amount of work to do that. Like maybe we design a token, and then like you have to like pay that token, and they're just like somehow tied to Minds token, or whatever.
I mean, that's the great thing about crypto, is you can tie one token into another token, no problem. It's just it's just a matter of people using it and trading it.
And then that's what that we have a marketplace to put up like those tokens. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's another thing that makes the site interesting, because I mean, like the fact that they're experimenting with all that. I came here and that was new to me. I mean, I've heard about Bitcoin for a very long time, but never really. It's like, okay, this is a crypto social network. What is that? And then you come here and it's like a little school, of crypto, and like learning about crypto, and like setting up a wallet, and like all that stuff. I heard you Mindgaming say once, I think, that that makes it difficult for people to adopt the platform. The learning curve.
Yeah. The learning curve is definitely an issue with tokens, but that's I don't think that there's any way around that. It's just like the first time you ever had to set up your bank account. It was, it was stressful when you
Yeah.
went into the bank to talk to that teller. You didn't really know what you were doing. You had to give over all this information to them to
But
set it up and get your wallet and, get a
that's what's so
credit card.
interesting about like this moment. Like I knew it instantly when I saw an advertisement for PayPal going to be able to buy and trade crypto via PayPal, and I'm like, holy shit! Like this, the bar is getting so low that more people, like basic people, are going to start using this. And even like MetaMask is not that hard to use. Like once you use it, then you kind of understand it and use it. I think the same is going to be with Uniswap. It's just a matter of getting over that one little learning curve, and then just being just get used to it. It's just with anything new.
Yep.
I mean, for like the lay person, like I tell my friends they have to set up a wallet, and they're like, "What the fuck is that? I don't even know how to reset my password." I was like, "Okay."
Passwords are always a headache for people that are not used to it. Like even for Meg, who's on Minds and has used mine since when it was like really kind of hard to use. I was trying to set her up with this other thing, and she was just like, "Oh, I don't remember my wallet key number." Like, oh god, Meg.
When I first started getting into Bitcoin, I'm sure there's a wallet somewhere that has tons of money in it that I'll never see again. Because like that was years ago when it first rolled out. I had no idea what I was doing. Like I had no clue what I was doing at that point. I was just doing it to do it. It's like, oh, these are never going to be worth anything, but they're fun.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Similar issue here, man. Like I remember, I think it was like 2010, and you could I remember you could download like the software, and it would just use up the resources of your computer.
Yeah,
and you'd mine a token, but back then, like they were worth zero, basically.
Yeah, you would spend 2 hours mining a token and then be like, okay, what do I do with it now?
Exactly. And yeah, I never mined them. I only downloaded the software, and now I cry.
Oh, good. Yeah, I used to have a script in the back of my website that ran in the back of the website that collected tokens, but they started cutting back on all those kind of things. I think it's still out there, but I'm very focused on trying to get this the Minds token, I guess more easily accessible. Like that's why I wanted Uniswap so bad and to bring into Minds, because we need an accessibility point, a marketplace. Like right now, the token is worth 1,000 views on mine. So you got one token, you can get 1,000 views, or you can go to a third party and trade it in, but you're gonna have to pay that gas fee to get it out of mines, and then you're gonna have to pay that gas fee to trade it with a third party, provider that's swapping it out. So we just need an easier way where it's just one solid click and it all just comes to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
perfect.
That's what's even though I don't I do nothing about like building a community overall on like Hive, and before that it was Steam. But what I liked about it that tied to it, there was a trading, like easily to trade your whatever tokens on an exchange that it's like instantly, like with one click via your wallet on that site, and then I was like, okay. And kind of like what you guys were saying, I kind of slept on Steam a little early when it was like worth like nothing, and that you get like 100 tokens for just like interacting and using it. and I was like, oh man! And then it like turned into something. I was like, okay, now I'm gonna use it, but I always regretted like not using it in that one phase where it's like worth nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to play with them, man.
Is that still going? Steam it?
It is. It got like taken over by like Tron, and there was a fork. It's called Hive.
Okay.
Hive has a little bit better like interactiveness, and I post stuff up on there. It's basically just for me to like accumulate that token, so then I could like trade and transfer it via like conversions with Ethereum. It's just
Okay.
like a whole, and
Yeah.
it's like a whole little thing I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like that's where we want to get with, mines is you
Yeah,
actually have these tokens in your wallet that you can directly cash out for Ethereum.
yeah,
That's the end of
totally.
it.
It's gonna be big. Yeah,
That would be great too, because it would also serve like as an exchange platform, like how do you call those? Like where you send money overseas and stuff. So you're wherever you need to send the token, they're here. You just give it to them, and then they
yeah,
just catch them out.
Yeah. And I know they're bringing in a bunch of like incentives and stuff for the bigger channels. Like they're gonna, make it so you can give plus memberships to people and that kind of stuff
Oh,
too.
interesting.
So it's gonna be a whole different field once these things come. Like the Matrix and the Uniswap together is just it's gonna be a whole different platform at that point. But so that's we had to get on the ball with it and start doing shows and start the platform early.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I feel like I'm here at the right time.
Yeah, man, yeah. I'm glad that we got you on here, definitely. So let's roll back here. What is
Okay.
your favorite three things about mines?
Oh. um, a lot of the interaction seems genuine, at least in my experience. Um, unlike the other platforms, there's a lot of just follow to like unfollow type of stuff. Like I'll follow you and then you follow me and then I unfollow you type of stuff that occurs elsewhere. Like here, I haven't seen that as much, but again, I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, but I like that. I gotta say, running into both of your content, like it is. I mean, Minds Gaming, you welcomed me here. Like you were the first one to like really welcome me and say, "Hey, there's this person there." So seeing that there are people here intentionally trying to do that, like that was cool.
Yeah,
And then on Satori's side, just your editing, man, it's just out of this world, man. It's like inspiring. So seeing that, the accessibility of the people at the top, the fact that they're trying something else, like there's a different economic model here. There's no ads, and they're thinking philosophically about the tech. So like, I don't know, that interests me about Minds. I think they're doing something different. I always hoped, since even when I came and I was just looking at it from afar, I always hoped that creators came and kind of helped drown out the politics a little bit, because I see it more as a platform for creators.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a very creative side platforming. I mean, they have so much stuff for creation. I mean, they don't have
yeah,
everything they need right now. We'll get there with the Matrix. We'll have everything we
yeah,
need once the Matrix comes
Nice.
in. But it has all the tools that a creator would want. Like they have blogging, they have videos, they have gatherings. They have groups. It's all creative. And I'm not a political person. I have a news group that of course politics is going to show up in there often, but
Mhm.
than that, I don't really pay attention to the politics.
See, this is a funny thing is like, I remember one of the first taglines that I saw. I think Bill was doing like these like weird little mime memes back then, and one of them was like, "Minds, you are the creators," or something like that. And so that like just that like framing early on of it was like, especially at the time it was like an anonymous type of people. So your programmer hackers. Then you had kind of like me and my weirdness. There was this story early on that like Mac was talking to somebody and he posted a blog about it, and the person had this like a metaphor for explaining minds, like it's an abandoned warehouse, but like we could do something about its bones, and then like later we could like flesh it out and all that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, I viewed minds like that early on too. It's like, but instead of like looking at like the top floors, I set up camp in the basement, and I just started like fucking spraying on the walls and like doing mushrooms and listening to music, and then I just like been waiting down there in the basement, like ready to like take over,
Amazing. Yeah, one of the things that I like that Bill said once is that their hope is that minds kind of dissolves in the ether, I guess. I don't know. It just, the network just is, and we're all just communicating with each other, and minds as a thing doesn't really have to be. So I'm like, okay, this guy's speaking a little bit differently. Let's see what the fuck he's about.
So, well, what he's talking about is decentralization and that, and that's what that is my top goal is once minds can be decentralized and I can have my own minds on my computer, I will be so happy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then that goes into these problems that we're actually talking about with Russia Ways and Chris Duguid, was about like these like restrictions on like the server spaces and all that, and then if you have that mesh network like what Minds Gaming is talking about, and we each have our own little versions of it, our nodes of Minds, and it's connected to the bigger one, but mainly our community is helping support our storage space, so it's actually even more secure that like as long as we have support, then we have the server space and the processing to do it, because our network, as more people engage with it, the better our streaming and sharing of our content would be, and all this kind of stuff as evolves, and then we don't even have to like worry about that, like it just be automatically we could upload these crazy images and it won't be any problem.
To add another good thing is just this that you guys are talking about. I mean, like, you guys are two Minds users, and then you're talking about this other Minds user, and you guys want to actively build inside Minds this thing. It's like, okay, that sounds different and awesome. That the same users are building the site. Like I don't know. That sounds cool to me, and inviting.
Yeah. That's we I know Tori and me anyways have spent a lot of time pushing the developers in the ways we want them to go. Like, no, you need go this way. Go this way.
That was like the whole like point of like the Minds panel show. Like at first it was like just us like talking about it, and then I kind of steered away from like them just like bitching about it, and like that was like the only like contention I had at the time. It was supposed to be like a community show, but I ended up doing all the work. But anyways, my thing was like, okay, if you want to do that, then like do it yourself. But I was always, then later the show kind of turns into like, no, Bill, like the point system sucks. Like we need to do something about that. No, Bill, we need to tie it. Like we were pushing for
like
the.
To say,
like, yeah,
I like to say that I love hating Minds. Okay.
Yeah, we've read your blog. They're fun.
You get the true like like love has like this like you could like critique it like honestly,
Yeah.
See it for what it
cool,
is,
though, but that's love, I think that's love.
Because we're invested in a way early on in Minds. You're not only like taking what Bill said seriously, but then having feedback from him. Like actual things like happen. Like I remember the first time I asked him to do a show with me, I didn't think he was going to show up, and I was just like, oh, I'll just fucking edit him into the show if he doesn't show up. and then he showed up, and then like I don't bug him, but like every now and then when I reach out to him, like he comes and like talks to me. And then now it turned into like something a little bit different, but yeah, I mean that's that feedback, and that's the same thing me and Minds Gaming do differently, but at the same time, like I think it works good now that we're teaming up, because like this feedback that I want to also emulate of like when I reach out to you and tell you like, oh, they'll come on to the show, and then like we're talking about the back end, and then we can share, you know, resources, and then we can have fun. Like, you know, like after this show is recorded, I'm going to get the audio, and then we're going to have some fun with it, at least on the Imaginarium side, and then we can highlight your music and put visuals, and then of course I'm going to do a little tweaking of my own to some of your stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you know, that actually for Imaginarium early on, you know, like that's kind of why my channel like's been here forever, but it's not that huge. Imaginarium is bigger than Satori D, but I have more interaction because like I interact with people, and like I do these creative stuff. So like I have a good team of people that like work with me well, you know, Curry Hobo, Meg, and that's how I'm able to do the editing that I do. And it's like reaching out to you, not only to like about your content, but reaching out to you as a creator and saying, hey, you know, we could play and we could have fun, and then that's actually what the Imaginarium is. It's not the podcast or the show. The Imaginarium is us collaborating, creating, and connecting. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, man.
That's what
Sounds
it's all
good.
about. It's all about connectivity and, you know, joining together and stuff. And that's why we're here. That's what I built on. You know, I built my community so other people can interact with each other. You know, I don't actually make anything from reminding or quoting posts. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I don't make anything from those. I just do it because I like you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah. I enjoy the community, at least the side of the community that I'm able to see, and it's also nice to see that you guys found each other. You know, like Curry Hobo and you and Mindsgaming and all the like. There's a lot of talent here, man. A lot. You know, like that's really good at what they're doing in their art.
All the OGs know each other. They might not all get along, but they all know each other.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny thing I was thinking about.
That's funny,
Like everybody in that like first initial wave of Minds, like because it was so small, it was like Minds was like literally like a Facebook group, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like you post something that everybody could see it. Like everybody saw whatever you posted, and that was kind of like a cool thing about it. So you got to really like know people because then you'll either have fights in the comments or you know like whatever. You try to block something, but you can't block it, and then it turns into like this whole like drama. And then so you get to like kind of know these people through the comments and like interacting with them, and then like we all know of each other, especially from that like beginning.
Yeah. We all know each other. Don't get it wrong.
That's a funny thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting atmosphere when you know, all the big channels that, you know, actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
They'll piss one of us off because then they'll say something to the next one, and then the next one.
No.
Roll down no. But yeah, man, it's a great little place to be, especially with all the music and gaming that you do. I mean, it's good to see, you know, all this content that is being pushed out right now. Like we got that big wave from, you know, the Parlor issue, and you know, it's great to see all that content being pushed out onto it. And I don't know, like if you have our hashtag and your hashtags or whatever, but like they're just filled now. Like it used to be 5 to 6, you know, users that used it on a daily basis. Now it's like 25.
Yeah. I always tag music, and when I post on your group, I'll tag Mindsgaming. Again, like I still don't know the how do you call that? I guess the behavior. What's the appropriate behavior? I guess on using the tags
Is it tag etiquette? Proper tag.
Yeah, like
etiquette.
I don't have to use your tags. Just like I'm just promoting myself, you know. Like how does me using your tag help you? I guess.
Oh, well, because I am my tag, that's how it helps me.
Okay.
No, but yeah, all of our groups are linked together through our hashtags. So, like, if you're in music and you use Minds Gaming Music, then it will show up under those two hashtags, Minds Gaming and Music. It'll also just show up under the Minds Gaming. But like, we have GamerTube and we have Gaming Live and stuff like that. So if you use Minds Gaming GamerTube, it's going to show up in that feed for the GamerTube feed and all that. So they're all interconnected, and it's community of gamers that like more than just gaming. And you don't want to know how much hate I've got over the years about, oh, this isn't gaming related. Well, it doesn't say gaming. It says Minds Gaming, which is me. So go sit over there in the corner.
That
True.
But yeah, it's just gamers love everything. It's they love so much more than gaming. I can't game without music, and I can't. If I'm on a game, I have music in the background, and I'm relaxing, or even in my headset, like on my headset.